All right, Rogers, it is field day week. So, made a little video for you guys. Going to talk about expectations, kind of what the day looked like, and should be a fun day for everyone. Teachers, there's some stuff in here for you, volunteers as well. So, let's buckle up and I'll get through this as quickly as I can, but also as thorough as I can. So, field day. Let's remember our expectations of taking care of yourself, others, and this place throughout the day. Kind of what to expect. We'll have 17 to 15, depending on your grade level, stations for you to do. Each station will take about 7 minutes. And we're also going to get some fun Sonic slushies. Here are your slushies time. Teachers, I'm updating the Google Doc for you, and that will be in your email again Monday. So be on the lookout. So throughout the day, most of our games is going to require you to be on a team. Okay, and teachers, it's wise for you to kind of separate your class into these four colors, either red, orange, green, or blue. Each game that you see these four colors, you can just assume that you need to go to that cone that is your team color. Okay, and before we get into that, here's kind of the schedule. One quick note, if you can see, the station numbers are up here, and you're going to be kind of rotating within the first, well, like it'll be 5 or 6 stations, and then you'll move on to the next 5 or 6 stations, and then you'll move on to the next 5 or 6 stations. So it looks like, let's use Mr. Clagg's class. He starts at 2, and then he ends at station 1. So Mr. Clag is going to start here, then rotate to 3, 4, 5, go back to 1, and then after he does the 1 station, he will go to station 8. Okay, so that's like the next kind of section where he would start at 8, go to 9, 10, 11, 12, then go back to 7. Okay, so that's how you kind of rotate within your kind of sections instead of making you guys walk all the way around. I thought this just might be easier for everyone. Might not be, but um, I am taking all feedback after field day. Much appreciated. Um, Kinder first and second, kind of the same situation. You'll have 5 stations in each section, so 1 through 5, 6 through 10. Let's look at Ms. Cola, who starts on section A, number 3. So if we go, I don't have the sections kind of marked, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the water games. So Ms. Cola Catchy starts on 3. She'll go from 3 to 4 to 5, back to 1 to 2. And that's just how, if we're confused, just let me know. I'm going to print off a card for teachers that will show you which station and your rotation. So be on the lookout for that as well. Okay, so the day starts at 8:10. We will start our tug of war. It is okay to be out there a little bit early. We're going to sit with our houses outside in the field next to the kinder playground. It is going to be a tournament style for grades 3, 4, and 5. And kinder first and second, cheer on your houses or your friends or teachers you really enjoy. Should be a good time. And then after, we will have our teachers versus parents tug of war challenge. So, all right, let's get into each of the stations. We're going to start with all of our water games first. And the first one that we're looking at, now these are not in any kind of order. So our first one that we're looking at is our water slide, inflatable water slide. Um, just take turns going down the slide. Be safe. Follow the directions from the volunteers at all times and just have some fun, okay? No crazy like flipping or anything. Just have a good time going up and down the slide. Should be a good time. Our next water game is called Gushers, okay? Now, for this game, you're going to form a line behind your team cone in the seated position. Okay, last person's going to have, I call it a bucket. In the video, it's a bucket, but in the real game, it's going to be something much more difficult to get water into. So it's just kind of a surprise that I'm keeping for you. Um, and then each player in the line is going to take turns grabbing a cup and filling that cup up with water out of your team's water bucket. And then you're going to race to fill up your water bucket that is on the last player's head. Now the cup that you're carrying is going to have a hole in the bottom of it, so you need to be quick, and you're also going to get your friends a little wet along the way. Once you do fill up your bucket, come back to your line, trade it off with the next person in line. This is kind of what it looks like here. So Levi's going to go fill up his bucket, or fill up his cup, going to run on down, dump his cup, give it to the next person in line. Coco's going to go much, much faster, blazing speed. That's what we like to see. Coco's ready to win. And so you just keep going through that cycle until time is called and you get your bucket filled. So that is Gushers. Our next one's called Soggy Bottoms, okay? You're going to form a line behind your team cone. On go, one player at a time will soak their sponge and then run the sponge to their chair and sit on the sponge to drain the water out and then fill the bucket that is under the chair. Okay, now these chairs in my video do not have holes, but the stools that will be sitting on the game will have holes. So we're kind of using our imagination here actually for most of these because we don't have water, but so as we can see, the players have their sponge, they dip it in the bucket, run down, sit on the sponge, and it should be kind of funny to see your water bucket fill up and get a little soggy bottom as well. Here come the other players. Just race to fill your bucket up the fastest. And that is soggy bottoms. Drip, drip, drop. Here's a little fun take on Duck, Duck, Goose. You're going to form a circle with your class. And then the player who is it will have a water cup with a hole punched in the bottom of it. And they will go around the circle saying drip, 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 kind of like duck, duck, duck. And all they're doing is the water is coming out of the bottom of the cup and you're just dripping it on everyone's head. Now, when you want to choose someone to be the tagger, you will say drop. And when you say drop, you're going to flip the cup and dump it on that person's head. And that's how they know that they've been chosen. They will stand up and run around. You'll play a game of tag. If you get tagged, go to the middle, sit out, or just join back in line, or join back in the circle is fine too. So let's look at our examples. Mateo's going around saying drip, 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 drip. All right, drop. He just dumped it on Ben. They run around the circle. Mateo gets tagged. Now Ben will be the next person to be it with the cup, and it'll be his turn to drip, drip, drop. And that is the game. All right, Battleship. So I don't have a video for this one, but I have a good buddy that has a great explanation for it. It's kind of like the board game Battleship. Have you ever played it? Let me just fire this video up. Now, for this game, we have a volleyball net and some hula hoops that everyone's going to stand in, okay? Now, our net, you're not going to be able to see the other side, kind of like the actual board game Battleship. So let's just play. All right, and that is Battleship. Seems like a really fun game. Should enjoy it. All right, so this is more in, we are done with the water games, and now we're going into our field day stations. So this first one that we have here is called Maze, okay? Each team will have their own maze, and a maze master will be assigned. It will be a volunteer, and to each maze, that volunteer has the correct answer of where you should move throughout the maze, okay? The maze master will tell you either yes or no, okay? So you can move one poly spot at a time, vertically, diagonally, or horizontally. And if the maze master tells you yes, you can make another move through the maze. If no, you're going to head back to the end of the line, okay? Very important here. Pay attention to your team. All right. If someone's going through the maze, pay attention so you can see if they get a yes or a no. Now, this one in the video, it's a very easy kind of maze that we made, just so we can get the video going. But on field day, it'll be much trickier for you to navigate. Let's play the sound here. Okay, and we'll say Mateo completed the maze there. Okay, so that's the maze. And our next game is called Gladiators. Now, everyone should know all of these games, but we've played this one throughout the year a couple times. Now, this one, I say form a line behind your team cone, but there might be more than just 4 cones, just so we have more players in the arena. Um, so form a line behind a cone. On go, the player with the noodle will head out to the arena, which will be the middle of the cones, and attempt to tag the other gladiators with their noodle below the waist. Okay, we're going to keep tagging below the waist and the legs and the feet, just so everyone's safe. Okay, nothing around the head or neck area. Also, no sliding on the floor. Students know how to really play this game. If you are tagged, you put your peace sign up. That shows that we are pieced out. We are piecing out that we have been tagged. We would not like to be tagged again. Go back to your cone and give the noodle to the next player in line. So this is kind of what it looks like. We have our 3 teams here. The first player with the noodle is going to come out to the open area, and Ben and Mateo instantly go after Emma over here. And then somehow they both miss. I don't know. And so now they're going after each other, and then they both get each other out. So see their peace signs are up. They go back to their team and hand the noodle to the next person in line. And this game is just continuous. You'll go until the timer is done and you are told to rotate to your next station. Now we got foaling here. Foaling is bowling, but with a football. Okay, you're going to form a line behind your team cone, and just like bowling, but with footballs, on your first throw of the football, you're not going to pick up your pins. Um, and then, but after your second throw, you're going to fix your pins up, kind of back the way to start. Okay, now this is a race, so you want to quickly get those pins gathered up so the next person in line can attempt their throw. Okay, you're going to keep score on a whiteboard. A spare, which is getting all the pins down on your second try, is worth 10 points, and knocking all the pins down on your first try, which is a strike, is worth 15. So we're going to watch Eli take a couple of throws. So this is his first throw. He's going to step and throw. He knocks over a bunch of pins. And notice he's not going for any pins. He just runs for his football, goes back to his line to make his second throw. And after his second throw, so he knocked down 8 pins, so his score is 8. And now he's going to start picking up the pins to place them back in how they were for the next person in line. And that's bowling. Our next station here is the inflatable obstacle course, similar to the water slide. Just be safe, follow directions from volunteers at all time, have fun, okay? I'm gonna see if the company will allow us to keep our shoes on. I think that'll be better for transitioning from station to station, but I will give that information out to you as soon as I can. All right, so bean bag battle. You're gonna line up behind your team cone, and on go, one person at a time will attempt to toss their beanbag into the center basket. If you make it inside that center basket, you're going to move the tiny cone from one hoop closer to the opposing team. If you miss, you quickly just grab your beanbag and get it to the next person in line. So this game is also a race, so you want to get that beanbag back to your team as fast as possible so they can get some shots off into the basket. Team wins by getting the cone all the way to the opposite side. So this is what it looks like. So we have our 2 teams over here. This is the center basket right here. This is what they're aiming for. And on the side here, we have a line of hoops, and this is the tiny cone that'll be moved if you make a basket. So we're going to feel out the range here. as we're missing the first couple. It's all good. Just get it back to your team as fast as possible so they can start shooting. Now, Nicholas made it. He's going to grab that cone, move it one spot closer to the opposing team. Your goal is to get this cone all the way here. Once you get it there, your team will be the winner. So now Ben has made it, so he is another step closer, but Mateo answers, so he grabs it and still just moves it one place over. Okay. Now, the basket will be more reinforced, so it shouldn't be falling over. But if it does and it stays in, it's good. If it does fall over and the bag falls out, it does not count. And that is the bean bag battle. All right, match the middle. Another game, I have a small video for it that I took a while ago. It's not the best, so I used some paint skills here. So this is kind of what this setup looks like. You're going to line up behind your team cone. Now this here in the middle is kind of a walled off area, okay, which you cannot see from your team cones. All right. On go, one person from your team is going to run on the back side of the walls and look inside here. This star is representing something that the volunteers have built out of our PE equipment. Okay, now your goal is to try and recreate whatever the volunteers have built inside your team's hula hoop here. The team that accurately recreates whatever the volunteers have built is the winner. So let me go through that again. One person at a time runs from their cone, takes a peek inside of the barrier, and then from there, they can look at some of the items that they need. All right, there are going to be some supplies areas. Run to the supply area. You may grab 2 pieces of supplies only at a time. Grab the items you need, bring it back to your circle or your hula hoop, and then the next person in line can go take a look at what's inside. Grab 2 more pieces of supplies, bring it back to the hula hoop, and you can start building. So the team that correctly recreates what's built in the middle first is the winner. I know it sounds like a lot, but again, everyone's played this game. We practiced, so hopefully all the students know. Here's a little video that I've taken a while ago. So here we see Macy is looking inside at what we have built. This is what myself and Coach Z have built in the middle. They're taking their peek, and then they're going to run to the supply area in the back of the gym right over here. See, Macy's grabbing some stuff for her team, and now she's going to run that back to her team to start using. Here's all the teams with what they've built so far. And so the first team that correctly builds what we've built right here in the middle will put their hands up, say that we're finished, and we'll come check it out and we'll make sure that it is exactly how we have it. Okay, you don't get it right unless it's exactly how it is in the middle. And so that is match the middle. Our next station is our big parachute. Okay, you must follow directions from the volunteers at all times. When you get to it, you're just going to line up at one of the colors that we have around the parachute, and please don't touch until the volunteers tell you to. Okay, you'll do a lot of different activities for the parachute. I'm sure you'll go in, we'll pop some popcorn, try and launch some balls really high in the air. It should be a good time. Now, bucket match, I don't have a video for, but again, we've practiced this game before. You're going to line up behind your team cone. Right here is yellow team as they're in their lines. Now, there's a lot of setup with this game. Okay. As you can see, they are collecting yellow items. Now over here on this picture, you can see these buckets. Now under the buckets, there's going to be several different items, and you're trying to find a match on what you're looking for. So on go, one person at a time will run and take a look under one of the buckets. If the item matches what you're looking for, take the item and place it. Take the item and place the bucket with the opening face up. This is very important. If you look over here, there's a bucket faced up. That means that there's nothing in that bucket, so don't waste your time looking at this bucket. It also helps us out when we have to reset the game. Very important that you place the bucket facing with the opening facing up if you do take that equipment from that bucket. If the item does not match what you're looking for, hide it back under the bucket and then return to your team. All right, well, the first team that finds all of their items wins, okay? So there's a couple different ways that we do it. You might be assigned a color, so you want to find all of the different colored items, or you might have just an object. And if you see right here, this red little foam brick, that was their original item from a previous game. So they were originally looking for these bricks, and there's one in her hand here that we have of a rainbow set of. So you can either find color, or maybe they need to find a rainbow set of the tiny cones, or maybe a rainbow set of the spots, or rainbow beanbags. I think you kind of see where I'm going. But again, the students have all played this game, so hopefully it goes pretty smoothly. Frisbee match. This is some of our, now we're going to get into some of our stations that are exclusively for either K through 2 or 3 through 5. Now, Frisbee match is just like the card game Memory. We're going to have Frisbees scattered throughout our field, and underneath the Frisbees, there's going to be some type of cartoon character underneath those. So you're going to line up behind your team cone. On go, one person at a time from your team is going to race and go flip over 2 of the Frisbees looking for a match, okay? If you find a match, you're going to bring those Frisbees back with you to your team, and those will be your points. And then the next person in line, they're going to do their turn, running out and flipping over 2. If you do not find a match, flip them back to where the cartoon character is covered, and then go back to your team, and the next person will try again. So you're going to keep playing until there's no Frisbees left, and the team with the most Frisbees is the winner. Hot shots. You're going to form a line behind your team cone. On go, one player will run out to a poly spot, and standing on that poly spot will take a shot into the basket with the beanbag. Okay, you must be standing on the poly spot for it to count. Okay, if you make it in the basket, you're going to take the spot that you were standing on and bring it back to your team. That's your point. Okay, if you miss it, just grab the beanbag, return to your team, and the next person in line can go. So you're collecting the spots that are on the ground. The team with the most spots wins. So here we have our runners are here. Coco finds a spot, tosses the basket, grabs her spot, grabs her main bag, runs back. And so we're moving pretty quick. This is a race to try and get as many spots that you can. Now, if we look at Zachary, he looks at me like crazy because I told him to miss it on purpose. So he missed. So he does not collect the spot that he was standing on. He just grabs his beanbag and he runs back to his team. And that is Hot Shots for kinder through second grade. We'll be playing this game. All right, here we have Switch, which is a 3rd through 5th grade game. And this game kind of just runs itself. You're going to form a line behind your team cone. There's going to be several different kind of games going on at the same time. So you're going to fill up the box. Let me just kind of do this. So here's our box here. We have our players who are on the corners of our 4 square box, and one player in the middle. The player in the middle is going to shout out switch. When they shout out switch, everyone that's on a corner needs to find a new corner to run to, while the person in the middle is also finding a corner to go stand in. So we have 5 people, only 4 corners. One person is going to be out, and if you're out, you just go back into the line, and then the next person in line will move forward to call out switch. So let's see how we do. So Emma was not there in time, so she just goes back in the line, and now Braden's going to come in. And this game is also just continuous. Be careful, don't run into each other, have a good time. And that's Switch for 3rd through 5th. Next game is Scooter Battle Royale. You're going to find the scooters around your team cone. You're also going to have a noodle, a cup, and a stick. Okay, in one hand is going to be your stick and your cup. The cup should match your team. On go, you're going to scoot out and you're going to try and knock over the other team's cups with your noodle. And this is just an elimination style game. If your cup gets knocked off, you will grab all of your scooter, your noodle, and your cup, and you will walk back to your team and wait for the next round. And then the last team standing is the winner. Okay, so let's just watch this game. So we have Pilar and Coco. They are the red team. The cup is going to signal what team you are on. So Coco and Pilar on red team. Caitlin is on the last one on the yellow team. Zachary is the last one on the blue team. And so they're scooting around and they're going to try and knock over each other's cups with their noodle. Now, once your cup is knocked over, let's see, Coco and Caitlin's cups got knocked over. They are going to stand up and then they are going to grab their items and head back to their kind of home base where their team was. And you keep going until there is just one team left standing. The team that is left standing will get the point, and then you'll play another round. Hula Hop Showdown. This is a fun one. Line up behind your team cone. On go, one person at a time will jump through the line of hoops. Now we are jumping 2 feet, jumping. We are not running through, skipping through, galloping through. You must jump with both feet together and through each hula hoop. You cannot skip hoops. You are jumping in every single one along the path. When you meet the player from the opposite team, you're going to play rock, paper, scissors. If you win, continue jumping toward the other team. If you lose, you get out of the hoops, out of the way, and then join your line. As soon as you get out of those hoops, the next person in line may start jumping immediately. Okay, if you make it all the way to the end, grab a popsicle stick to keep track of your points. So this is what that looks like. So we're jumping, we're moving quick. We're moving quick. So we got a little direction for Mateo to back up, play rock, paper, scissors. Mateo wins. He jumps in. And then Mateo makes it all the way to the final hoop. So he will grab a point, head back to his team, go back. So you win, you keep jumping, you lose, get out, next person in line continues. And you'll play until the time stops. When the time stops, count your points, and then the team with the most points will win. The long jump, this one is kind of like a limbo style game. So you're just gonna, everyone from your class is gonna line up behind the one poly spot, and everyone will get a turn jumping over the ropes. If you completely jump over the ropes, you're gonna get back into the line for the next round of jumps. But if any part of your body touches the rope or the space in between the rope, you are eliminated, and you're going to just sit off to the side and enjoy watching the other people jump. After each person jumps, the ropes will be spaced further apart and everyone will attempt to jump again. This continues until the last player, until the last player standing. So we'll see they're going to run through. You're going to get a small space to run and jump, but you must start at the poly spot to take your steps to jump. Okay, we're not going to get super far back and get a super long running jump just for safety reasons. So everyone has made it across successfully. So now we're going to scoot the jump ropes back a little bit further. Now this is probably more than what we would scoot it back, but just for, recording purposes, wanted to scoot it along, so we moved it back a bit more than usual. So Emma's foot hit the rope, so she is going to be out to the side. And so she had been eliminated. Ben's foot touched it, so he is also eliminated. We're making our way through, and the rounds will just keep going. The ropes will keep getting further and further until we have just one person left. So that is the long jump, and that is all of our stations that we're going to be having. So just some reminders for on field day. You can bring some sunscreen. Don't bring aerosol, bring the lotion. It's smart to put it on before school, especially if your field day is earlier in the day. Bring a water bottle. We will have a place for you to refill your water bottle outside. Bring an extra set of clothes. Bring a towel and no bathing suits. And that is our video. Look at that. We made it. Real quick, I want to jump all the way back to the beginning because I made a change to the map from previously. So previously we had our slushies in the backyard, but I decided to move those to this area here since our lovely PTA will be shuttling the slushies back and forth. I figured this would be easier for everyone to just meet out at the respect car line, and this is where you'll have your slushies. So just relax, have your slushie time, enjoy. Should be a nice little sweet treat for you. But if there are any questions, please reach out and we will, um, I'll answer it as soon as possible. Well, thanks for watching my video and let's have a great field day, Rogers.